Hello and welcome back to some more Genshin Impact. So I'm going to be starting this video off with this timed event right here, gazing up at eternity, looking down at the world. The description reads, Spring finds the fortress, as birds in feather fly, moon gilded in burnished bronze, ancient odes sung by stone, lost in thought, drifting in dreams, recalling the magnificent scene before finding it once more. So how do I start this? Because it's not giving me like a quest go to quest option. Is it in my quest list? I'm not finding it in my quest list. Is this even a quest that you're able to do? Okay, I'm gonna look it up very fast because I'm a little bit confused about this. If it's not actually a quest, and the only thing that you could get from it was that stone statue that I got, the one right here, well, it's a bronze statue actually. But if that's the only thing you could get from it, then, huh. So I looked it up, and it turns out that all you did with this event was claim the little statue thingy. So, yeah, I'm really surprised by that. So let's go ahead and do this one then. Dance of Resolute Will. You and Paimon encounter a unique swordmaster while wandering the Fontanian countryside. He is guarding the door to a mysterious domain, searching for the meaning of battle. So go to the quest and talk to the strange swordsman wherever he may be. As you can tell, I'm in Inazuma right now. Haha, what luck that two fine-looking adventurers such as yourselves have run into me. Constantine? Here today. It must be fate. So tell me, the pair of you, do you wish to revel in glorious combat? Can I say no? Talk about out of the blue. Do you usually start conversations like this? Are you looking to pick a quarrel, or just hungry for a knuckle sandwich? Wow, Aether's being a little bit aggressive. No, I'm not challenging you two to a fight. By combat, I don't mean some frivolous venting of pent-up anger, nor some kind of highway robbery. I'm talking about an ode to your inner passion, an artistic appreciation of the expression of your natural instincts. Evolution has given us hands with which to grip our swords, so it's our duty to use them for their purpose, clenching a blade with most beautiful and wielding it in an elegant dance of death. As a pair of intrepid adventurers, I have no doubt that you'll be masters of this art. You seem to be grasping the wrong end of the stick when it comes to combat. You're making it sound like the best thing since sliced bread. Even though Paimon doesn't usually get involved, just seeing how Aether deals with enemies is enough for her to know that fighting's really tough. That's another thing. We haven't even told you who we are. How can you be so sure we're good at fighting? Well, we're already quite some distance from the court of Fontaine. How else could you have gotten here, if not by slaughtering every monster obstructing your path? By dropping out of the sky? Wrong. I know an even better way to travel. Sure. Anyway, the aura emanating from you betrays how strong you are. I'm sure you've, vanquished many powerful foes, and equally certain that you'll be very interested to hear about the one that resides in the domain behind me. Hey now, we're back to familiar territory. Let Paimon guess. You were about to ask, would the two of you please demonstrate your prowess in combat for me? That's right. Would the two of you please demonstrate your prowess in combat for me? Pretty please? Then our response is, why don't you go do it yourself, huh? Wait a second, Paimon. When have you ever said that? You're always dragging Aether into this crap. Because when I went inside just now, I got beaten black and blue. Only you can't tell because I've covered it up with makeup as quickly as I could. Paimon didn't expect you to just admit it like that. What's up with Aether? He's getting some really sassy responses here. Great job with the makeup. You nailed it. There's no shame in defeat. After all, I'm only a writer, so naturally I'm not an expert fighter. I haven't been practicing for nearly long enough. I only got the urge to put myself to the test after coming across stories about a certain blade dancer called Le Feint. While reading through some reference materials, he likened combat to a dance of blades, and with the help of a certain talented engineer, had multiple arenas built where exquisite performances were held. Such consummate elegance. Though he ended up in the Mason Gardiennage's bad books and had to flee Fontaine, stories of such legendary deeds make for gripping reading. I couldn't just let such top-notch source material go completely to waste. So what you're saying is you were trying to imitate a legendary figure. Exactly. I wanted to get into his head and understand his frame of mind. It took years of painstaking searching before I finally found this domain. It seems luck is with me. This must have been one of the arenas that the Blade Dancer built back in the day. If only someone could perform such a blade dance in the flesh and let me bear witness to the spectacle. I'd be able to write a novel about a legendary swordsman, modeled after the Blade Dancer himself, and in doing so, keep his elegance alive for posterity. Of course, the two of you will certainly be richly rewarded for your trouble. My writings would also be a written record of your hard work, which would itself become the stuff of legend, passed down far into the future, at least among novel enthusiasts. When you put it all fancy like that, Paimon's starting to feel curious. Aether, what do you say? I get to fight and even get paid for it? That's basically free money, yeah. It's true. But we've done it so many times, so... Good point. That means we're agreeing to help this swashbuckling novelist, right? Woohoo! I knew you'd agree. Then I'll leave it to you two. And don't you worry. I've hidden a camera in the domain that will capture all of your heroics. Your promised reward will be awaiting for you upon your triumphant return. Okay. Each stage in the Dance of Resolute Will includes 2 battles. Lineups must be decided before the challenge. Both parties must share a character, while all the other characters can only be used once. Huh. Oh, that sucks. I had a bad feeling when I saw the 2 separate rows of characters. During the challenge, complete Blade Dance objectives to receive Heightened Verve. While Heightened Verve is active, different opponents types will spawn, and defeating them will net you more points. Once this buff expires, it can be obtained repeatedly by completing Blade Dance objectives again. Okay, let's go ahead and get this started. I think I've done something like this before in the past, and it wasn't too bad. It just, wow. The point multiplier is pretty high, though, to claim everything. But I'm going to go with simple for right now, because I have a feeling that I might actually be able to get 6,000 points on simple. Anyways, let's read this. Drum beats in the mountains. A tough adversary only makes you stronger. The more powerful the opponents you face, the deeper you have to dig. Launch yourself at them and find your own sense of rhythm in the blade dance. So party setup for this first round. I think I'm going to go with Venti as being my character that goes across both parties. Just because he's really good at, keeping things together. Or not keeping things together, but what do you call it? Crowd control. How do I switch over to the other party? No, seriously, how do I switch over to the other party? Oh, there we go. That's how. You have to press the circle button, which says return, to get back to this section, and then you can select it. It's kind of weird. Anyways, let's do it like this. I guess I'll go with Barbara as my last character. And let's go ahead and start. Okay, Venti, don't let me down.
Think you can get away?
I mean, he usually doesn't, but you never know. He might fail me this time. Whoa. Something hit me there.
Brace yourselves. Here we go.
Well, so far, I've only got 200 points, and I think I need at least 2,000 to be able to claim even the first prize. But there are also 2 groups, and okay, I'm all the way up to 500 points now. Yeah, I should definitely be able to get 2,000 at minimum. Let's go ahead and throw up a shield very fast.
Think you can get away? Let's play.
It was probably the right call to have Venti
My apologies.
as the character that's going to be in both groups. Even though Ayaka is my main damage dealer for the most part. D-Luke should be plenty good enough to deal damage in the second group of fights. I think.
Take flight.
Melt down something. I got some kind of achievement there.
Think you can get away? Let's play. Allow me.
There's a lot of these slimes. Just repeatedly, over and over again. It's actually kind of nice. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but it's fine.
Time for takeoff. Brace yourselves. Let's play.
I'm supposed to trigger crystallized reactions on these guys, and I just realized that I haven't been even trying to. Whoops. Let's go ahead and try to very
Here we
fast.
go.
You know, it doesn't
Think you can get away?
Okay, next group. We'll see how things go in the next fight. Go ahead and start this again, just like that.
Yahoo! Here we
Knock
go.
them off their feet.
Let's dance. By royal decree.
Do that. Oops. Good. Beat opponents while protected by a shield. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So now I know what I should have done in that first fight.
Brace
Was
yourself.
used Zhongli to, what do you call it? You know, trigger crystallized reactions. And then that way I think it would have summoned enemies that give more points. But because I didn't do it that way,
Time for takeoff. Let's
I
play.
ended up only getting around 1,500 points.
Let the show begin.
It's not like a really big deal or anything, because the only prize that I really care about is the first prize anyways, due to the Primo Gems.
Think you can get
And
away?
then everything else is just kind of like a bonus.
By
Something
royal
that I'd
decree.
like to get if I can, but it's not like I really want to get them or need to.
Let's get down to business. It's my lucky day.
You know what?
For retribution.
Switch over to her,
Time
and
for
then do
takeoff.
that,
Yahoo!
followed by this again.
Let's get down to business.
But yeah, I'm tearing through these enemies pretty fast, which is
Let's
nice.
play.
Let's get down to
Think
business.
you can get away?
And I should be able to get around, hopefully around 4,000 before this ends, but
Darkness.
could be wrong.
My lucky day.
3,500 isn't bad. It's not enough to claim more than one prize, though, I don't think. Wait. No, I was able to claim 3 prizes. I didn't... For some reason, I thought it was like 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, and then 8,000. But it turns out 6,000 is the most that you needed. Yeah, I'll keep it on simple for this next one. Rending a wall of fire and thunder. Do not be deterred by the flames and sparks. Instead, nimbly draw upon their power to elevate your blade dance to hitherto untrodden heights. So let's go ahead and set up this. And you can see on the left there where it says Blade Dance Objectives, trigger 15 overloaded reactions on opponents, and trigger 20 pyro or electro-related reactions on opponents. So obviously I should have a character that can do that, you know, characters that can do that rather in this next group. And I think I'm going to just stick with the setup that I had before, just like this, because I'm pretty sure that I'll get all of them in the second round when the time comes. And let's start.
Time for
Just a
takeoff.
bunch of big guys here. Okay, they granted 48 points for the 3 of them, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and knock them out with him. Oh, I tried to switch over to Venti. I just realized that Venti and Zhongli are in different slots right now. Like, they're in each other's slots, I should say. So I got a little bit confused. It's just these big guys over and over again, isn't it? Not that I mind.
Time for takeoff. Here we go.
They're easy enough to defeat after all. I wonder, should I just stay as Ayaka here? I think she's more than capable of knocking these guys out one right after the other. You know what? Nah, I'll use Betty.
Brace yourself.
Ah! Darn it.
Here we go.
The moment I decided to do that, Venti started taking a beating. Like the game was telling me, nuh-uh. You're gonna switch between other characters.
Time for takeoff.
You're gonna like it.
Allow me. Take flight.
Okay.
Order guide you.
And I'll end up with about 1,200 by the end of this, I think. If I'm lucky. Let's do this. Almost 1,200. It was close. If I defeated that last one, I think I would have just had enough. Not a big deal though. So now, let's do this. Yeah. Objective accomplished. Okay, you.
Retribution.
Come on, man.
Time for takeoff. Let's play.
As long as I get at least 3,000 points, I'll be happy. And I'm pretty sure that I can.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
I'll protect us.
Whoops.
Glitter gliding. Think you can get away? Yahoo!
Okay, the bird thing is going to happen again. Yep. And knock out all three of these guys. Or was it 3 or 4? It doesn't really matter. They've been knocked out.
Oz, reveal thyself. Time for takeoff.
And I just realized there's no point in aiming for the elemental reactions at this point.
Let the show begin.
Because the verb has already been active, but I'll still aim for him for the extra damage anyways. Darn it.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Okay. There we go. Oh, cool. I forgot how useful Oz is. Oz actually does a fair amount of damage.
Think you can get away?
I ought to use Fischl more often because of that. Go ahead and do this.
Retribution.
By royal
And then
decree.
that. Darn. Yeah, whatever.
Let's dance. I summon thee. Let's play.
I kind of just gave up at the end there because I knew that I wasn't going to get that many more points afterward, and I had already gotten 3,000 anyways. So there's only one left that's unlocked, and then the other two will take a couple days to unlock. Piercing Frost Snapshot. Facing the most powerful of opponents calls for the iciest and most steely determination. Let the cold light of your blade shine forth as you stage a performance of the highest caliber. So let's look at this. Freeze opponents for a total of 15 seconds. Inflict 25 critical hits on opponents affected by cryo. That sounds like it's going to be really easy. So obviously, my first round will be the one where I get, the most points. And then the second round will be the one where, not getting that many points, but it'll be fine. And start up.
Time for takeoff.
Okay, the question is will Ayaka even have a chance to freeze enemies in this situation? Okay, I see how it works. You don't have to keep a single enemy frozen for that amount of time. You just have to have enemies frozen, like, in general for that amount of time, if that makes any sense. Okay. Darn it. I wonder, is it actually more useful to just play as her?
Whirling snow.
Well, she's running out of stamina, so I don't know. Let's
Think you
do
can
this
get away?
to kind of
Yahoo!
add a little bit of extra damage in there.
Take flight.
A minute has gone by, and I've only gotten around 800 points with her, so...
Kamisato art. Sumetsu.
Darn it. I kind of messed that up.
Yeah.
Where's the next group? Oh, right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to use Venti.
Time for takeoff. Brace yourselves. Let's play. Allow me.
In some ways, I'm not really a fan of these groups of enemies here. Just because they can't be affected by Venti. If you could drag them up with Venti, though, it would be pretty nice.
My apologies.
Yeah, I lost out on a lot of points because I kind of got distracted by the fact that I couldn't drag those enemies up with Venti.
Here we go.
Not a big deal, though.
Take flight.
I got at least 1,500, and that's okay. The next group of battles will hopefully be better.
Time for takeoff.
What are those?
Brace yourselves.
Oh,
Here we
they're
go.
those enemies. Interesting.
Oz reveal by.
And Oz is just doing all kinds of work for me right now. Tearing through the enemies
Shadow Raven.
while I'm messing around.
Think you can get away?
Like, seriously, Oz is
No rest for the
doing
wicked.
a lot of work for me here. Okay, let's summon
Wings
Oz
of
again.
darkness. Come, sever night from.
And Venti
Time
will
for takeoff.
be able to help a little bit too.
Let's play. Brace yourselves.
Die. Why are they all moving towards the center like that? That was weird.
As you
Anyways,
wish, mein Fräulein.
Yahoo!
die. Come on. Darn it.
Ah,
I keep trying to switch over to official and it's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, it's because I'm getting disconnected from the internet.
Think you can get away?
I really hope it doesn't disconnect me, but it might. Maybe the timer will run
Here we
out.
go.
Yeah. Challenge completed, but what's the point? Like, can I actually claim anything after that mess? Yeah, I can't even claim anything right now. Reconnecting to server. Okay, it decided to completely disconnect me. That's unfortunate. I'll have to log back on whenever my internet comes back up. Isn't that funny? My internet came back up immediately. So let's see if I can actually claim the prizes that I won, though. Yeah, I can, surprisingly enough. I'm actually a little bit surprised that that allowed me to. Because, you know, with the internet going down like that and this being basically an online game, you know, it's a little bit shocking. So I'll worry about getting that prize right there later. Probably off camera. I don't really care about the 6,000 point one, though. And then, of course, these two I'll do later as well. My main focus now is actually going to be starting on some of these story quests that I haven't been doing. So which one should I start with? I think I should start with the one all the way to the right here, because I think that's the one that unlocked a while back. So let's go ahead and first unlock that. Or not unlocked a while back, but I obtained a while back. And now I can go to the quest. It wants me to go to the Court of Fontaine. One day you are stopped by a familiar voice while in the Court of Fontaine.
Well, if it isn't my dear partners.
That voice! It's Navia!
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
Just getting our daily dose of adventuring in.
How about you, Navia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
We've wrapped up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Between all of that, I've been making a lot of trips between the court and Poisson.
Wasn't Spina di Rosula affected too? Should you really be the ones offering compensation?
Well, though the victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some responsibility as well. Our financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to restore the people's faith in us.
Whoa! Spoken like a true president. You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This way, it's easy to see which tasks you haven't checked off.
And then?
And then, since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his example and come up with some shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even read my own handwriting anymore.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of shorthand did you use?
Oh, wanna take a look?
Let Paimon see. Wait, there's nothing here but a bunch of weird symbols. This looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick. And this other one, is it supposed to be a boar in a box?
Is Paimon insulting her handwriting?
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one is a reminder to try the new burger that just hit the market.
Huh.
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Maybe just use standardized shorthand symbols next time? Maybe just write out each item next time? Yeah.
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only really figure out once you've tried them out yourself. I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember the symbols when I looked at them later. Unfortunately, I've definitely proven myself wrong.
Well, now you know for next time.
Anyway, I should have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that I can't decipher, but I don't think they're anything too super important.
Huh.
Worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Yep, that's the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the reconstruction earlier, want to come with me and check out the town for yourself?
Sure.
You said you don't have any plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over. It won't take long at all.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think, Traveler?
I'd be interested in taking a look. It would be a pretty nice break, too.
Then let's go. We'll take a boat over.
Oh, you mean the Aquabus, right? Like the Clementine line?
Oh, sorry. I meant our own boat. The Aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson, so we'll use one of the Spina's boats.
Sure, sounds good to me.
All right, follow me. I'll take you there.
Is it gonna automatically put me on a boat?
The engineer is still doing a few routine safety checks. We can head out as soon as we get the green light.
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 Aquabus lines are all named after people in your family, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right. Callus and Navia are self-explanatory, while Clementine was the name that my mother went by.
Spina di Rosula was one of the main sponsors for the construction, right?
If you provided the Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated line to Poisson? Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home. Paimon doesn't get it.
Well, what I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub. So there was no real reason to build a line straight to Poisson. You are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build 3 lines, why not just add a 4th?
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The aquabus is so convenient. It's really a huge shame.
I've hardly ever used it, to be honest. Only during, like, cutscenes and stuff. You know, part of the story.
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head.
Well, something that big also wouldn't have been just his call. Perhaps the rest of the Spina didn't see a point in having a 4th line?
But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. Once he made up his mind, good luck getting him to change it. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or suggestions, and no farther. That included my mother, too.
Huh.
Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms with him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just... not very agreeable.
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
All right, then let's head out.
Okay. Braving the tides together has started. Yay!
It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, Paimon's sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure we would have gotten along famously. While my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities allowed them to make up for each other's flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy. Their work made sure that the Spina could grow and thrive.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her. But sometimes, I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, a cold, inanimate object can gain a completely new meaning.
Makes sense.
So, I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how one may reflect on their past by watching the sea. I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them and must continue to keep moving, the fact won't change that they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to move forward.
Do you miss them? Yeah, missing Melus and Silver?
Of course. I still haven't really gotten used to a life without them. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone, even my parents, have already overcome so many obstacles. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up. We've reached the shore. Let's go. I'll show you the new Poisson.
Okay.
Navia, do you think she's doing all right?
She seems to be managing. She's always been having to cope with one thing or another.
Okay. Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have been easy shouldering so much by herself.
Do we gotta slowly follow her? No, we just gotta go down there. I just want to say, I'm not entirely sure if this was the oldest one out of all of these or not. It's possible that the Yoimiya one was actually the oldest one, now that I'm thinking about it. And it's not a big deal, though. I've already started this anyways. So down here we go. Oh, wow. It's a fair ways in, isn't it?
Boss, you're back! Traveler and Paimon, welcome back to Poisson.
Oh, hey! Fancy seeing you again, Florent. it your turn to take care of Navia now?
Hey, I can totally take care of myself. For the time being, I'll go around without any attendance. We did hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around to help out.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson. Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some really big shoes to fill.
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old friends by now. Were you waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job, but they can't get started on sourcing a correctly sized block without knowing the design that we want to use first.
You're commissioning a statue?
So basically, we've been meaning to commission a statue of my parents in commemoration of everything they've done for the Spina and the town of Poisson. But since my father was known as Callus the Unfaithful for the longest time, it would have been too controversial to commission a statue of him.
Makes sense.
But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt, I thought this would be the perfect chance to actually realize this dream.
The funds to build the statue were freely donated by the people of Poisson to show their appreciation for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus and everything they did.
Shouldn't Navia be featured with them too?
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble.
Not to mention it would be kind of weird to make a statue of yourself.
Maybe we can have this conversation again in a few decades, once I've done more for the town and the people.
Hey, there's no need to be so humble. Didn't you just help save the entire country?
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe that Boss should have a place on the statue.
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I might just float off into the sky with my parasol. Just kidding. There's no way that I'd accept that kind of compliment at face value. At a minimum, I'd have to match what my father did for the people.
Well, if that's what you think, I think it'll just be a matter of time.
Thanks
Sure.
for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
Mm-hmm. We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get a few promising designs first, and then send them over to you to review.
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a design right now. Hey, you! Come over here with me.
Okay. Me? What are you doing?
Modeling a few poses, of course. Here, just pretend to be Callus, and I'll be Clementine.
It's kind of weird, isn't it, Paimon?
Didn't you say on the boat that Callus and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill this role than my most valuable partner.
Oh, really?
Florent, let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas?
Shouldn't you be running this show?
Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original ideas. It's probably because my idea of them is already kind of set in stone. So, I want to pick your brain for a bit, and see if you can come up with some new and interesting ideas.
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
Okay, then let's try for something imposing, or looking out into the distance, or why don't we just strike a happy pose? Sure, yeah, happy.
A happy pose? You mean something like we were laughing together at a funny joke?
Well, I don't know about that. That's not good.
Would all that be able to come through with just a picture?
Would we even be able to tell what they are supposed to be laughing about?
It's not a good picture.
Yeah, and that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt as well.
Could one of you try striking a pose like you're talking while the other one laughs?
No, I wish I had never suggested it.
That actually sounds pretty hard to pull off. Forget it, let's try something else.
Thank you, Paimon. Let's try for something imposing. Sure.
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
Well, that might be better.
This pose! It makes me recall Spina di Rosula's glorious golden age.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too bold and heroic? Was she really that kind of person? If we were to stick with this pose, maybe people would wonder if she was actually the real boss behind the scenes.
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina pulled a few strings and made both the report and the journalist disappear.
What? Excuse me?
Oh, Paimon was just kidding! Please don't make Paimon disappear.
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to choose a new alias. You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts. Let's try to come up with something else.
Okay, then let's try looking out into the distance.
Ah, by that, do you mean as if we were standing on a boat and looking out at the sea? Sure, let's give that a try.
Okay, why is he pointing his hand, though?
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a captain and their first mate.
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see, every tree on that island is dripping with mora fruit.
But there's something off with the composition. This pose makes Mr. Callus look too tall next to the lady.
Oh, I see what you mean. Then let's swap.
Why, Aether? That's a horrible pose.
Well, Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on a boat.
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see the statue if we were to put it on a boat. This statue is meant to be placed in the town.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be lost.
Oh, okay. We'll try to think of something else.
Huh. Well, they're having a lot of fun trying to figure things out, aren't they?
We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt right. Paimon's all out of brain juice now, too.
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session, and each of them can be considered to be a souvenir in their own right. Let's just keep the ideas we tried as backups. Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Traveler, I would have prepared a lot of outfits and props ahead of time. Oh, outfits! Ugh, that's the errand I forgot back in the city. Do either of you still remember that girl? The girl I went to see with you two. Her name is Adele.
Nope.
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callus's case, right?
Oh, her. She always believed that her father, Jacques, was a good person.
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing to talk to me. And she told me that she wanted to join the Spina too. I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. Since she's still a child, though, she thought I was just trying to let her down gently. But how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end, I came up with an idea. I'd have a Spina uniform made and give it to her as a gift.
Huh.
But I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the uniform up. So I did forget something important after all.
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick it up right away.
She just asked Aether to go pick it up, though, right?
On the matter of the statue, we should still come up with a few more ideas for the design. I'll have to trouble you to source some for me.
Was I misunderstanding why she brought that up? Huh.
We could have just done that from the start.
Hey, at least this way, we got some cool pictures.
Yeah, you're right. They'll have some value as souvenirs at least.
Navia! Florent, guess who's back?
Coulter?
Huh? But aren't you supposed to...
Oh, well, if it isn't Coulter. Back already from the Fortress of Meripede?
I don't remember seeing him there.
That's right. I finally finished serving my time. Gotta say, turns out I was a lot tougher than I thought. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You could say that familiar, briny smell became a primal call, urging me to forget everything else and just come back home. You wouldn't believe how much I've missed Melissa's grilled fish. I dreamed about it every time I had to get a welfare meal down there underneath the sea.
It's good to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this guy is?
Ah, let me introduce you. This is Coulter, another of Spina di Rosula's members. He was found guilty and sentenced to the Fortress of Meripede some time ago.
But guilty for what?
But, looking at it now, it was probably another one of Marcel's plots while he worked at the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Oh.
Wait, Mr. Marcel? What do you mean? He was involved in some sort of plot?
Oh, he doesn't know, huh?
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the primordial sea case?
It's kind of surprising that he wouldn't, considering what happened at the prison.
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to it, and didn't care to ask for any more details. Do you mean Mr. Marcel was somehow involved with all that?
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top. That case, a lot of things have happened in Poisson since then. First things first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've been with me through thick and thin. Now you could call them Spina di Rosula's VIP helpers.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't recall Navia ever generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must be pretty amazing to get that from her.
Yeah, we are indeed pretty amazing. But we've been cool since before we even met her.
We just followed Navia's lead. Or, all credit to Paimon. Yeah, sure, why not?
Wait, now you suddenly resist taking a dig at Paimon?
Nice. Spina di Rosula always seems to attract great people. Oh, that reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver? Aren't they always by your side?
Oh boy.
About that.
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see, even Poisson isn't quite the same as how it was before you left.
They lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say? This isn't some kind of morbid welcome home prank, right? You're just scaring me on purpose because I don't know anything about what's happened.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They weren't the only people we lost either. Many others, including Melissa, also lost their lives in the disaster.
Malus and Melissa, dead. They're just gone?
What about Silver, dude?
Malus. I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I ran into him again in town. I can't believe it.
Hey, keep it together.
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years, and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can understand how he feels.
Okay, it makes sense.
Let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell you everything that has happened while you were gone. Fair warning, there was a lot.
Okay.
Okay, it wants us to talk to Coulter again, but I'm going to do that in the next video. That was a pretty long cutscene there. So, yeah, thanks for watching. The next time I play, this is what I'll be doing. Excuse me, my throat is a little bit, messed up, but I'm gonna make some wishes very fast. I don't think I have the Raiden Shogun yet, so let's go ahead and make wishes on her banner. And, ooh, I got Chevreuse. Cool. I was not expecting that, but hey, I'm very fine with that. Let's go ahead and make one wish here. Oh well. Not a big deal. So yeah, there we go. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time when I continue this quest right here. Bye-bye.